And we dedicate them to that process of teaching and then doing research on projects that they're interested in. Why would we do such a non-productive thing? And the answer has to be, and if it isn't, we ought not be in business. The answer has to be, by letting those young people, in a sense, lie fallow for those 4 or 5 years, they will be more productive in the largest sense of that term when they're 30 and 40 and 50. And that esoteric research that is being done will make it a better world sometimes next year, but often in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, as human knowledge progresses. And we live in a culture that is deferred gratification. I was born 9 months to the day after the end of World War II. I'm the prototypical baby boomer. You can blame me for all of the problems that the baby boomers have wrought, including now taxing our health care system. We are a generation that is not very keen on deferred gratification. That is part of the problem that we face in our entire educational system. It is an investment in the future. Every generation has done something for the future. The turn of the 19th, 20th century, people built the subways in New York. We built the interstate highway system. You can go to every generation, right? We're eating our seed corn right now. We're not investing in future generations. And that's what education and higher education is all about. An investment now so the world will be better 10, 15, 20 years from now. Let me kind of close with another aspect that we often see talked about in higher education. We do things in silos, where most human problems today are collective, collaborative. And there is much more collaboration going on in research and teaching across campuses. All of that is to the good. It seems odd to just turn and I'll use in this example, a scientist. But it could be a student pursuing an area of study. It could be a humanist. But in this case, I'll say scientist, who's working on an esoteric problem that he or she is interested in out of scientific curiosity. What is that doing to help us tomorrow? It looks like maybe nothing. The phrase you'll see, and you see very often, is the work is read by 13 people around the world. I want to put that in context. On our campus, we have a material scientist named John Goodenough, who is responsible for the lithium-ion battery. It has been hugely beneficial and will continue to be as electric cars and we start to deal with our energy problems. But even in cell phones and rechargeable computer batteries and things of that sort. That seems to be valuable and productive. That work depended on some work, let's say 10 years ago in chemistry, on certain, well, in material science, on certain materials properties. And that work in turn depended on some more esoteric work on molecular bonding and the quantum mechanical effects on molecular bonding. And that in turn worked on some 30-year-old, 50-year-old work in mathematics that helped develop tools to do the chemical bonding, that helped develop tools to do the material science that helped John Goodenough with his work on lithium-ion batteries. And that train goes back, or the branches of that goes back to 1,000 people that were doing work over the last 50 years. Let me invert that. There will be something that happens 25 years from now that we'll look back and say it's revolutionizing and improving the lives. It could be in health, it could be on economic theory, it could be in growing better crops, sustainability, it could be on any topic. We don't know what that is yet. But there is a team right now working on it. And that team is in Tokyo. It's at the University of Texas. It's in Turkey. It's at Texas A&M. It's at Princeton. It's all over the world. We just don't know who that team is, and they don't know they're working on that problem. That is the nature of scientific and other scholarly inquiry. It is by its nature collectivist. That's the way science moves ahead. And it is very difficult to know now and innovate that from the top. There are certain activities. Prayer is one of them. There are certain activities that, if pursued for their intrinsic value, have beneficial effects, but if pursued for their beneficial effects, will not have them. If you pray, you may have a better peace of mind, more spiritual calm. But if you pray for that reason, then you're not really praying. Same with falling in love. If you fall in love for psychological benefits, you're not really falling in love. Universities are built on a very odd notion that in the long run and in the aggregate, if we pursue knowledge, we will get the benefits. I can assure you, if we try to short circuit that process too much and say, I want to direct those benefits from the tower. We want to direct those benefits from systems or coordinating boards or legislatures. We won't end up getting the effects. We'll have short-term gains, but 25 years from now, that sort of advance of knowledge that then all of the research being done then will be based on. We won't get it. This again is, I think we're eating our seed corn. Now, that's a pure version of that. Certainly, we can make bets. To say that we're not going to support things like biomedical engineering or computing, we can make some bets at a very non-granulated level. But the American university, by letting students pursue knowledge and letting scientists pursue knowledge, is the envy of the world. It is what is at the soul of a university like the University of Texas. And it is the best strategy with the right kind of thoughtful direction, the right kind of regulation, but understanding that it's in the aggregate, what is the world, both the scientific world, the leadership world of our students, going to be like 20 years from now? And if we keep our eye on that, what are the best strategies now to help us 20 years from now, if that's the target, if that's where we put the beacon, And then, coming back to my opening, have honest dialogue about that. I think we'll come through this debate, as we call it, a stronger and better state. Thank you very much for your attention.